everybody. How are you? Hope you're having a good evening. So I wanted to do one more retro react, and this has to do with Chantal's money. Now, I'm not a pocket watcher. Chantal can make her money and spend it however she wants. But for those who weren't around for Crack at Olympics, I would like to show you some clips from Crack at Olympics showcasing just how much money she was making and spending, and also how much money she was grifting out of her own beezers. So, for those of you that maybe you're new to the foodie verse and you weren't around for Crack at Olympics, you might be interested in some of these clips. I remember back in Crack at Olympics that Chantal was making quite a bit of money. As a matter of fact, she had a few months where she was making $20,000, $30,000 a month. And that was because she was constantly streaming. When I say constantly, I mean precisely that. We're talking minimum 8 to 10 hours a day, every day. As a reactor trying to keep up with all those live streams, that was quite the task because the 8 to 10 hours did not include the live streams that she would do late at night, sometimes 1 or 2 in the morning. And if you didn't catch them, you might not be able to catch them the next morning because they might be gone. So I've brought up a whole bunch of clips that I'm going to show together, and shout out to all of the great channels that have the clips because I don't have an archive of my own. We're also going to go over all the Twitter stuff, and I hope you guys enjoyed this retro react. Before we get into that, though, let's catch up with the current Chantal, courtesy of all of the wonderful Twitter peeps. All right, it's time for the Twitter peeps. There's not a whole lot to go over, but there is some stuff, and there's some fun stuff too. So let's see if I got it here. I think I do. All right, so for those of you that are on Twitter that you would like to follow me on Twitter, there's my handle, Wild Girl Sarah. Let's start here with something fun from Post of Cats. A cat with fur and eyes that are split into two distinct colors. For those that are wondering, is this a real cat? Yes, it is a real cat. This is an actual genetic condition. This can happen in cats. I know the eye color being different, that's heterochromia, I think it's called. I don't know what the other one is. I forget the name of it right off the top of my head, but that's an actual cat. I would love to have that cat. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I love the different coloring and the different eye color. Nature is amazing says these retired racehorses are now seahorses living their best life. The slice of heaven is called Nihi Sumba, a forgotten island in Indonesia. Who would have thought that horses would love the water as much as people? But look at them. They're living their best life. They look carefree. They look happy. They're just enjoying themselves. On to Shenanigans saying, seriously, though, what is she on? Guys, look, I watched the live stream. I watched a good portion of it. It's Chantal being boring as Chantal does. Uh, there was no point of discussion that I could see. And yeah, it looks like she might be on something. I have to wonder if she snuck something back over to Kuwait. Now, those of you that are watching this, you might be asking through your screen, how would that be possible, Rose, that she's sneaking something over to Kuwait? Well, she might have snuck some edibles back over in a vitamin bottle. I don't know if she did it. I'm not saying she did, but she's on something. So either it was something that she brought over from Canada or maybe something that she got in Kuwait. Not quite sure, but she did look a bit under the influence. Miss Anthropopolulu says luxury pigsty fart box by the sea. So this is from Chantal's current live. Look at this mess. Look at that. She just got back. There is no reason for all of that nastiness going on there. Uh, what can you say about this? this mess. There's no reason for it. Every room is in shambles. Chantal, this is how you get fruit flies. This is how you get rodents. This is how you get pests in your home. The state of your home is disgusting. And there's no reason for it, ma'am. You practically live alone. Salah is not there. There is no reason for your house to look like this. If you're the only one there most of the time, it doesn't need to look like that. Truly, it really doesn't. You don't even have the excuse of having a job outside the home where you're out of the home and you can't clean. You absolutely can clean. Mrs. Flupa Booty says, I'm not sure you can get a new passport unless it's expired or lost. She could have lied and said she lost it, but not sure she could get a replacement that quickly. Passports have been slow as of late, but I'm not 100% sure. So, Fat Cow Chronicles had an interesting theory about why Chantal was in Canada. To get herself maybe a brand new passport, one with not so many stamps on it, maybe a way to kind of not arouse suspicion with the Kuwaiti government because of her going in and out so quickly. But I agree with Mrs. Flupa Booty. I don't know if you can get a passport just that quickly, but we know Chantal. We know she's about the loopholes. Who knows what she's been doing behind the scenes. Hectic Llama says, another idea from Fat Cow Chronics is that she went to the Canadian embassy to get a new passport. If she shows up with blank pages instead of multiple stamps showing all her arrivals in Kuwait, it could invite less questioning from the border agent on arrival. Good theory. Very good theory. I don't know if it would work though. I mean, I don't have a passport, so I'm not sure, but it's a good working theory. That Cow says, what if, hear me out, Foodie Beauty made 2 trips to Ottawa, passport office local, to change her passport under the pretense that she wanted the unveiled picture replaced with the hijabi one, thus ending up with a passport with blank pages that passport control often overlook. Again, great working theory. I don't know how true it is though, but it's very, very strong. Hectic Llama says, why would Foodie have visited the Kuwaiti embassy in Ottawa? My guess is that she was worried about her visa on arrival being approved, so she got it done ahead of time. Either that or authenticating documents for residency in Kuwait or bringing Salah to Canada. You know, I don't think she can bring Salah to Canada. She doesn't have verifiable income, not enough to where they'd be comfortable with her being a sponsor. Yes, she does work on YouTube, but I don't know if they would count that as solid income. And I don't think she's making enough on paper that they could say, well, you're making enough for yourself and you're making enough for another person. Plus, let's not forget about her bankruptcies. I'm sure that would work against her too. She's got bad credit. She's got bankruptcies. And yes, that stuff, I'm sure it does count. They also included this screenshot. Someone would need to visit the Kuwait embassy in Canada primarily to apply for a Kuwaiti visa if they are a Canadian citizen planning to travel to Kuwait, as well as for other consular services like passport renewals, document legalization, or to receive assistance in case of an emergency while in Kuwait as a Kuwaiti citizen residing in Canada. Key reasons to visit the Kuwait embassy in Canada: visa applications, to apply for a tourist, business, or student visa to travel to Kuwait, passport renewals, to renew a Kuwaiti passport, document legalization, to get a Canadian documents legalized for use in Kuwait, emergency assistance, to receive support in case of an emergency while in Kuwait, trade and investment inquiries, to discuss business opportunities between Canada and Kuwait. So don't know if she went to the embassy, if she was looking to renew her visa. I'm sure that's where she would go. All right, so that was it for everything on Twitter. So let's just get out of here. I got so many tabs open. And where are we going to start first? Well, you know what? I think we should start with the online calculator because I'm going to do some calculating of my own. All right. So some of the retro reacts that I have to do today that I'm doing for you have to do with the money that Chantal was making during Crackhead Olympics and what she was spending the money on. And why am I bringing this up? Because you're also going to see clips where she's being very dishonest, she's grifting, and she's also ripping people off. So I just want to give you guys a rough idea of what she was making back then. Don't know what she's making now, but what she was making then. So Chantal did a stream where she told everybody that she was spending $4,000 a month on food. I actually think it was more, but 4,000 plus she was making frequent trips to the dispensary. So let's add in another 2,000 for that. And I know that may seem excessive, but trust me, she could spend that and more at the dispensary. All right. So rent, I believe, was $19.50. Oh, oops, sorry. Plus rent was $19.50. Of course, that is a living expense, right? Let's talk about her trips to Starbucks as well. She was taking at least 1 or 2 trips a day to Starbucks. So at the very end, she was buying 2 drinks, like she was double fisting those drinks. So let's just say 1 drink per day. 1 drink times 30 is $300. We're up to $82.50. This is not counting her paying for Natter's rent, Natter's bills, buying him food, paying for the phone bill. Not quite sure how much that would be, but she was paying all of his expenses. But let's just focus on hers for right now. She was also buying a whole lot of junk food. Let's add in another 1,000 for that. What else? She was buying a lot of stuff off of Amazon. So she had a lot of expenses, y'all. This is just on her. It's just on her. But the money going out the door was ridiculous. She was buying party favors for herself, party favors for Natter. Let's see. She spent money on magic mushrooms. She spent money on the nose powder. You know, she did say that she spent about $4,000 for that. So let's add that in. Okay. So you guys can see, like this is just for her. This is not her paying for Natter stuff. Like there was a tremendous amount of money going out the door, buying Shatter Bears, buying all kinds of stuff, buying the edible chocolate. There was too many things to name, like buying stupid stuff off of Amazon. I mean, she had literally mountains of empty boxes from Amazon all over her house, stacked from ceiling to floor. There were so many boxes that we made a joke of them calling them box mountains. And she once paid somebody $500 just to break down boxes and take them out of the house. Yeah, she had that kind of money back in the day. Not now, but then. So just to give you an idea, yeah, like this. That's what she was bringing in then. Again, not now, but that's how much stupid money she was making. All right, why am I bringing this up now? You'll see. You'll see, like there's a reason for everything today. So how about we start with a video courtesy of What's Happening called Foodie Beauty's Daily Spending Habit, where she actually sits down and she figures up how much she was spending. And she's going to let us know what she was spending her money on. And trust me, it's not just on necessities. She was spending money like it was going out of style. It's a short video, but I think you guys will enjoy. So let's get started, y'all.
So chocolate cream cold were $7. 2 nashies, let's say $20.
Yep, her fast food habit. I forgot to add that in. Her going to Burger King and getting like her beloved nashies, and she would buy 4 or 5 of those at a time. So, and she did that every day. So if you can imagine the cost of, say, 4 sandwiches from Burger King a day minimum, like how much is that per month?
Coke. How much was my wheelchair? 68 plus $5.
Before anybody asks me, what is she talking about with the wheelchair? Is it an actual wheelchair? No, no, no. No, wheelchairs have to do with wheelchair edibles. And she liked those a lot. And she bought a lot of them. Wheelchair edibles, they're really, really strong. They're 1,000 milligrams. And each one costs between $75 to over $100 a piece. And Chantal loved her wheelchair edibles because they were really, really strong. They were really, really powerful. And she started out doing very small amounts of the edibles. But then after a while, her tolerance was so high that she needed the really powerful ones just to feel anything. So because she pushed her tolerance up so much, she needed to spend that much money on a wheelchair edible just to feel a buzz of some sort. And even then, after a while, that didn't work. But imagine dropping $75 a pop on a wheelchair edible and buying those frequently throughout the month, like every other day. So add in another expense.
Plus $5 delivery. Wait, no. 7 plus 7 plus what's a pilot fish? 68 plus 10 for delivery. I'm just calculating my daily.
She's bringing that up too because she had them delivered. So $68 plus $10 for delivery is $78. $80 for one wheelchair edible that did not even last a week. Maybe a couple of days. Every other day buying one. Again, do the math on that. It's a lot of money.
My daily addiction expenses. And then
that was important what she just said. My daily addiction expenses, not my daily essential expenses like food, shelter, clothing, rent, power, utilities. No, like these are all, this is money that she has to do with to make her addictions happy. And Chantal has many addictions, and they're all quite powerful. And the longer that she's gone on, the more they've increased. Chantal is not in recovery for any of her addictions. If she goes without something, it's because they are not available to her. She can't get to them. She can't pay for them. But once she gets into an area where they're available, she indulges. She spends her money on those things, whatever they are. And usually what those things are food, edibles, things you can smoke, things of that nature. So she essentially was coming on YouTube not to pay her bills, but to feed all of her addictions. And feeding all of her addictions was a full-time job. Keeping them well fed, keeping them happy, keeping them satisfied is literally a full-time job for Chantal.
And how much is paneer? Paneer's like $50 every time I order it. It's $50 if I order it from Uber Eats. It's like almost 50. It's like 47 or 40 something. If I go,
yeah, and there was an entire month where she ordered paneer every day. I kid you not. An entire month of eating nothing but paneer, 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 paneer. And for those who are wondering, what is paneer? It's high calorie, lots of cheese, like a cheese sauce of sorts. Entire month of paneer.
Go pick it up. It's like 26. It's fucking crazy. I always tip. Yeah, I tip like 10. I think for the edible, like $5 every time because it's like daily. And then do like less than $5. Depends what I order. So that's $135. And then not counting like gas or whatever else.
Spending $135 a day. A day. Let me go back to the calculator for a minute. $135 a day times 30 days. It's over $13,000 a month. And this is just for stuff that she's addicted to. This is not essentials. Doesn't include her paying for Natter's expenses, his rent, his bills, his groceries, his party favors, his liquor, paying for trips for them to go to a motel or a hotel and party together. Like her money was just flying out of her pocket. It was crazy.
$4,000 a month. That's fucking crazy. Wait,
Say it again. What was that? Please say that again.
dollars a month.
No, go back.
$5. Depends what I order. So that's $135. And then not counting like gas or whatever else, $4,000 a month. That
No, it was more than that, but I'll take that, Foodie. $4,000 a month. That is strictly for stuff that you're addicted to. Your food, your edibles, your junk food, your Starbucks trips, your party favors. You didn't add that in, though. You didn't add in the party favors and what they were costing you. So let's bump it up to $6,000 a month.
that's fucking crazy. Wait, 4,000? 135 times 30. 4,000. Holy fucking shit. So the money I save on paneer on oh my god. Okay, this is crazy. That is insane. Somewhat stuff. Weird flex, but okay. It's not a flex. Add Starbucks. So Starbucks is
Yeah, add the Starbucks in, Foodie.
7 times. It's only like 200 a month for Starbucks. Is that a lot? 200 a month?
So she's just saying out of her own mouth, she was making she was spending on herself $4,000 a month. This does not include rent for the villa or power bills or internet or anything like that. This was just her expenses alone for her addictions. She's confessing she spent all this money on herself. And yet she had the gall, the audacity to get in front of people and say she wasn't going to take BBJ to the vet. Couldn't be bothered with that. Couldn't be bothered to spend $10 to get her nails trimmed so they wouldn't grow into the bottom of her feet. And that happened twice. Couldn't be bothered to take BBJ to the vet to get some dental care for her rotten teeth, to get her dirty, infected ears treated, to get the mats out of her fur shaved. She's letting you guys know right here, like she had plenty of money. She just didn't want to spend it on a cat. Her cat did not matter to her as much as her addictions did. You know, the addictions always got considered first and fed first. That addiction monster always took priority.
Versus if I were to buy my own espresso machine, how much is an espresso machine? 200. We're saving a lot of money per year. Like if you, it's 2,400 a year on Starbucks. So if you look,
wow, $2,400 a year on Starbucks. It's a lot of money.
look at your yearly salary, you're spending a good chunk of it on that shit. 1K for a nice one. You could be living in a $750,000 home now. I could wins. Instead, I'm fat, poor, overweight, and fucking unhealthy.
You know, Chantal, you were all of those things except one thing. You weren't poor. At this time, you weren't poor. You were making good money. If you had just saved even 1/3 of what you were making during Crackhead Olympics and put it away, put it into a nest egg or put it back into yourself, you'd be doing all right. You could have used the money just for the few months, the high months during Crackhead Olympics. You could have paid off all your taxes. If you owe like 60, 70 grand, like 3 YouTube paychecks would have cleared everything or most of everything. But you chose to spend it on your addictions and a crackhead who didn't care about you. You ate it, you snorted it, you gave it away, you spent it on nonsense rather than put it where it needed to go. So you had a moment where you weren't poor. Life handed you a cup of fortune and said, do what you will with it. And you did. You wasted it. You ate your way through it. You drank your way through it. You snorted your way through it. You smoked your way through it. You gave it to other people. And then you arrived at a point where there was nothing left in the cup. It was empty. And here we are, 2025. You're in Kuwait and you're struggling. Maybe it's because you thought that the money that you were making during Crackhead Olympics, that train would roll on forever and it would never change. You and Amberlyn Reed, you both had that thought, that feeling of, I'm doing well. I'll always do well. You never prepared for the moment when you wouldn't do well. And now you're both hurting for money badly.
I hate myself right now. I'll be in shock and continue on with this in an hour. Carly makes her own coffee drinks at home. That's true. Yeah, off my car. I have so many things I need to do. Fat and over. I just mean like not fat as in like I don't mean that like derogatorily. I mean it as in like I've just been very overindulgent, like not in a healthy way. Not in
You know, Chantal, if I could pick one word to describe you and your life, it would be excess or maybe overindulgence. That describes you in your life, excess or overindulgence. You overdo everything. You find something you like, that something or someone you like becomes an obsession, and then it becomes an addiction, and then it becomes a problem because that addiction takes over your life. You make it a priority and you give it all you got. And now you've arrived at a place where you don't have much left.
no like, oh well, I ate too much yesterday. Oh my god. No, this is like oh smart. No one can see you begging. You're just barely out of reach. So no one can accuse you of begging me for anything. Shutting off my brain for the past year. And now it's like, oh, excuse me. Being that. I really need to manage my money. This is ridiculous. $40 a month for 60. I honestly don't think you'll ever change.
You know, this is part of the reason why she went over to Kuwait. Other than the fact that she just saw Salah and by her eyes she fell in love. Because this is Foodie. This right here, this is Foodie. This is Foodie with no impulse control, with no control whatsoever, no self-control. She can't control herself. She doesn't know how to control herself. She's not interested to learn how to control herself. No coping mechanisms, no coping skills. She's like a giant child, just running wild, out of control. Imagine a child with all kinds of impulses, all kinds of wild thoughts, with a lot of money. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to run all over and just go wild. And so she did. So she ran over to Kuwait and she treated Salah as a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Parental figure, as a sort of control that she didn't have. Telling him to control her somehow, although no one can control Chantal. Because she knows how out of control she is. If you leave her alone, she's going to do what she wants to do. And usually what she wants to do is a bad thing. It involves bad choices. But yeah, you were going wild with the money, Foodie. Absolutely wild. And another reason why you were going wild with the money, I think it's because of a life that you've led where you're used to other people stepping forward and rescuing you from messes that you create. If you spend too much money, You have it in your mind that if you go overboard, you spend too much, you get yourself in a pickle, somebody somewhere is going to rescue you. If you cry hard enough, if you beg hard enough, if you get pushy enough, they will help you. Like if you spend all of your money on food, Pete's might come along and give you money, or your mom or your family. So it doesn't, you've not taught yourself to be careful with things. You always operate under the assumption that no matter what happens, there's always going to be a safety net to catch you. Somebody somewhere is going to catch you. You've not learned to be careful. You've not learned to discipline yourself. And because there's no discipline, because you rely too much on that safety net, you just continue to go wild.
Honestly, Aber, it's hard to imagine that I will. I guess I have all the power to do that, don't I? Hi, Tiff! I think you left Lambo. I was upset about that. Where's Lambo? I'll change it as you are with checking on others that don't matter. You'd be in great shape. Yeah. Lizard brain. How much did you or do you spend on Natter and Didi? That's my business. No, I don't.
Ooh, there we go. Somebody in the chat asked her, how much do you spend on Natter and Dee? She said, none of your business. Rather than, I don't spend anything on them. She should have said, I spend nothing on them. But she said, none of your business. So she pays for herself. At this time, she also paid the expenses for Pete's. And she was also spending money on Dee Dee and Natter. She chose to extend herself that far out. And if you want my opinion, I don't think she stopped. I think even her being in Kuwait with Salah, she spends money on him, maybe paying for her place, maybe paying for his place, and also spending money on Natter. If you want my opinion, I mean, she's a creature of habit. She wants access to Natter, and she's going to get more access if she pays for his stuff rather than not paying for his stuff.
I don't. Look, Dee Dee has her own job. I don't spend anything on Dee Dee. And I don't. Natter's not my boyfriend, so I don't spend. I honestly.
It doesn't matter if he's your boyfriend. You like him and you want a reason to talk to him. And you know he's not going to talk to you unless you spend the money. You cannot get into Club Natter without paying some sort of admission fee, whether it's paying the rent, paying for the groceries, paying for the party favors. You got to pay something. He's not going to let you walk in for free. He doesn't like you that much.
Like, I know people think I give him money, but he makes his own YouTube money, so I'm good. We're all good. Trust me. I know you probably think I'm broke from giving all my money away. Actually, you see, you can't use me for money when I don't have any. All right. Isn't that funny?
You know what, Chantal? I wouldn't even call the YouTube money your money. Yes, it goes into your bank account, but you didn't really earn it. I don't call what you did, even during Crackhead Olympics, as you earning it. You just turned on a camera and just started running off at the mouth while you were high and being dramatic. And I'm sorry, there was no work involved with that. You were just being yourself. The money that you made, if anybody paid for that stuff, it was the Beezers. It was YouTube. It was the Beezers paying for your groceries, your junk food, your party favors, your wheelchair edibles. It was the Beezers paying for his rent, his groceries, all of his stuff. The Beezers paid for all that stuff. Yes, they did. Paid for your stuff, his stuff, Dee Dee's stuff, all of it. The motel visits, the hotel visits, going to the restaurants. They paid for it all. You didn't earn anything. Other people paid for your stuff.
Fucking disgusted in myself. Things I could have instead of paneer belly. All right, well, no problem.
Yeah, you know what? And that's another sad thing. If you think about it, all the money that Chantal made, that she has made in her time on YouTube, honestly, guys, she should have near perfect health, like a set of perfect teeth, investing money in dental work, a fully paid off car, a fully paid off house. I mean, she's been on YouTube for 8 years. She should have no debt whatsoever, good credit, money put away in a business somewhere, all kinds of streams of revenue. She don't have nothing. 8 years on YouTube. She's got nothing to show for. As a matter of fact, she's in the red. She's in the red with her credit. She's in the red with her health. There's nothing good there. She can't look at any of us and say, yeah, I acted a fool on YouTube and I did the feedy content, and here's why. I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. I invested my money wisely and I'm sitting pretty and I have no worries. She can't say that. She took the cup of fortune and she spilled it on the ground, thinking that she could just tip it back up and it would refill. Never did. Never did. Chantal, you will never see the money that you saw back in Crackhead Olympics. That was a one-time thing. Once it was over, it was over.
Crying over spilled paneer. Gotta go make a coffee. Let's have a coffee and breakfast and then get started on this. Let's do one thing in this room and then have coffee and breakfast. I just added it up. Because every day, wheelchair 68 plus $10.
Every day, I love how she tells on herself, every day a wheelchair. Did y'all catch that? Every day ordering a wheelchair edible. Every day, 1,000 milligrams every day. Just for perspective, I have a male friend named Jim. He suffers from constant migraines. Love my friend Jim, but he suffers from the constant migraines. Like, he's just genetically disposed, I guess, but he never stops having a migraine, if you can imagine it. But even with his condition, he'll take 30 milligrams in the morning and then 30 milligrams at night, and that's enough. So 60 milligrams. And Chantal, she has no reason to take 1,000 milligrams a day, but she does. And this is on top of her smoking the green on top of that. Yeah, that was her life during Crackhead Olympics. Her taking massive, stupid, ridiculous amounts of edibles and smoking the green all day long. She literally ate and smoked all of her money up.
Delivery plus 10 fees and charges plus 7 coffee plus paneer 50 plus 2 nashies. Oh, 165 a day. So 165 a day times
$165 a day. Spending nearly $200 a day.
30. That's like $5,000 a month.
Whoops. That's just for her. $5,000.
Pete's gets a little.
You forgot to add in the other stuff, Chantal. You forgot to add in the party favors. We're conveniently leaving that out, aren't we?
A little bit of Pete gets some money from YouTube, so he's able to take care of some things he needs for that. Like he doesn't have many bills, so just kind of like have an account where we just, if he needs anything, he can just like get it from there. Just like put like, like whatever, like, oh, I transferred money into this account. I usually have to work.
The fact that she spent $5,000 a month on herself again, and those cats were not taken care of, is shameful. Absolutely shameful. Just visits to the groomers, visits to the vet for, to make sure they're okay. They don't cost that much.
Worry about telling him like to worry about spending because he doesn't really buy anything. Like he might buy himself like a book or a comic here and there, and I don't even really notice that. So it's not a problem. It's not like he's buying all kinds of blow and hookers. So he really just buys like a comic once in a while or orders McDonald's or nachos tonight. Or he's pretty good at like, I don't make 30K a month now. And
There were a few months that you did during the months of a month, because that's when the RPM, which is what you get paid per 1,000 views, goes up a bit. So there were a few months where she was making that much.
I do make pretty decent money though.
Yeah, you do, and then you wasted pretty decent money.
I should be able to live better than I do.
Yep,
So
but you don't because you waste it.
that could just goes to show you that no matter how much money you make, if you spend beyond your means, which $170.
Well, Chantal, you're in Kuwait right now, and I'm sure the bulk of your money goes for junk food and for takeout. Takeout is not cheap anymore. It's gotten rather expensive. Even in Kuwait, I'm sure it's expensive. Your Canadian dollar isn't worth much over in Kuwait. For every one Kuwaiti dollar, your Canadian dollar is worth 22 cents. Even though you try to tell us it's cheap over there, it's really not cheap. It's actually more expensive. That's the reason why you're having problems. But I just wanted to show that clip to you guys first to give you guys an idea of like what she was rocking as far as the money. Like I'm just showing you what she was making because the other clips you're going to see are going to be kind of shocking. All right, so let me just see here. Looking. So how about an example of Chantal begging? She had the audacity to beg. This is a really, really short clip from what's happening. Foodie Beauty begging for money. Let me just give you guys the context. So, when Chantal lived in Canada, there was a big storm that knocked out power to a lot of areas for less than half a day. And that's not a big deal. I used to live in Florida, and when the hurricanes would roll through, sometimes the power would go out for a while. All, not a big deal. You just sit and chill and wait for the power to come back on. You're in no danger. But she was in Canada, big storm. Power got knocked out. She and the cats and Pete's were perfectly fine at the villa, but she had the audacity to make a post on YouTube begging people for money, saying that she and Pete's and the cats had to go to a motel when she really didn't have to go. There was no reason to go. They were perfectly fine where they were. But let's look at the video courtesy of what's happening. Let me just switch on over. One moment. Okay, so here's the community post in question. Let me read it to you. It says, looks like there's a power outage, might last a few days. Not sure what we will do. Pete and I may need to take the cats to a nights in situation until power is restored. We cry for food and shelter. Actually, Chantal, it wasn't the both of you crying for food and shelter. It was just you. And you already had food and you already had shelter. So there was no need for you to cry for food and shelter. You were perfectly fine at the Canadian villa. I hate to, but I will e-beg. If anyone wants to help, my PayPal is this or this. We will repay you by endless beezing and promise a future financial responsibility. Thanks, guys, and see you when we can. If you can help, it's okay. Anything is appreciated. So she gave out her PayPal address and her email. I love that line. We will repay you by endless beezing. What do you mean you're going to repay people by endless beezing? The beezing affects you. Like you're getting on stream and you're getting high and you're eating. You're not exactly sharing your food, sharing your party favors. So how does the beezing affect anybody else but you? A promise of future financial responsibility. Chantal, you are not responsible at all. You never will be, especially when it comes to money. some more context. So Chantal made this little post of hers. She made it, and as soon as she made it, she was off and driving to go see Nads, taking the trip to his place in Montreal. Nads was doing a live stream. While he was doing the live stream, everybody heard the front door open and the key in the lock. Chantal wanted to go play with Nads, go spend time with him. So she saw the storm as a sort of an opportunity to get money out of people, claiming that she and Pete and the cats had to go to a night scene when they really didn't. If BBJ was sensitive to being moved around as an elderly cat, it wouldn't make any sense to take her to a motel, would it? She'd be much more comfortable at home. So Chantal left the house. She wasn't even at the villa with Pete and the cats. She made this post, and she was up and driving over to Montreal to go see Nads, and was counting on the fact that people would send money to her, and she would have money in her PayPal account by the time she got there. So begging, not because she had any real need, but because she just wanted to go play with Natter and she needed money for that. But here's the post. Yeah, why does she need money for a power outage that was less than a day? This was Chantal grifting, outright grifting. And I played the first video from what's happening first. I thought that was important because out of Chantal's own mouth, she was telling everybody, yeah, I spend $5,000 a month on myself, just on myself, on food, on party favors, on the wheelchair edibles, $5,000 a month. And she has the nerve to ask money from other people in her audience to go get a room when she didn't need a room. Yeah, Beezers, that's who you're subscribed to. This is what she'll spend your money first, okay, and then she'll count on everybody else to give them her money. Okay, just okay, stop it.
He is really nice. And gotta go see it.
Sorry about that. It just keep clicking over. Let me get rid of that. All right. Where was I? Let me get back to where I was because I got a video. Got it. Perfect. All right, we're good. We're good. All right, next video. Next one. I got all of these. There we go. Now this one's really low, in my opinion. So when Foodie Beauty lived at the Canadian Villa, she liked to order a lot of takeout, like constant takeout, like 4 or 5 times a day takeout. Spending a lot of money on that. But here's the really disgusting, slimy part of it all. She loved to scam Uber Eats. She was literally stealing from the restaurants that she ordered from. She loved to order from Uber Eats because she could say, I don't like the food, or there's something wrong with it, because then she could get her money back and she can get a free meal. And in my opinion, that is slimy. You're ripping off the businesses that are making the food for you. But she's a con artist. She's a scam artist. And she basically confesses to her scam right here. And we're going to get into it. So this is courtesy of the channel PIGGY. You guys can watch with me and tell me what you think after the video is over.
Right? I'm not going to give you good energy if you don't deserve it anymore. I'm bitter right now. You can tell, I know. I always lose subscribers when I'm a fucking company. I love me a lot.
You know what I've noticed about you, Chantal? You always talk about how other people love you or how pets love you, but you never say, I really love them. When you talked about your pets, you would always say, BBJ and Sam love me, but you would never say, I love them. Now you're talking about BB and Pete, your exes, and saying how much they loved you. But what about you loving them? It's all about what they're doing for you and how much they're loving you, but it's never going the other way.
I think BB loved me a lot. I could feel it. You know when someone loves you. I cheated on him. I did. It's so wrong. I hate cheaters.
Yeah, the bags of trash out on the balcony. Even though they lived in an apartment complex, and every apartment complex I've ever lived in has a dumpster, and Pete has nothing to do all day, he could have grabbed the bags of trash and taken them downstairs and put them in the dumpster. What they preferred to do was put the nasty bags of trash on the balcony and let them sit there for literal months. There it is. There's Chantal's room. That's the state of her bedroom. This is how she chose to live. She was making good money back in the day. If she didn't want to clean all that mess, she could have hired a couple of maids. But this is how she chose to live. And I just showed you guys some pictures from her latest video. Does her current oceanside villa look any better? Does it look pretty much the same? Yeah. Because everywhere that Chantal goes, a mess is sure to follow. Like she has her own version of a pigsty.
I know my room is a fucking pigsty.
You know, pigsties are cleaner.
Oh my god. Look at all my papers and stuff. Oh my god. But it's gonna be clean soon.
Sure, Jan.
It's really messy right now.
It was messy all the time. Really, really bad. I mean, she used to talk about the mummified food, the KFC drawer, the fruit flies all over the house, the rotted food in her fridge, the moldy blue pot that actually had mold growing in it. It was nasty. It was so bad.
It doesn't take long. Feels like I just cleaned it. I'm embarrassed. I know who's gonna come here.
You're so proud of that.
Well, I mean,
And you want to know something even more embarrassing? Her room would get like this, and then she would call on her own mother to come clean her room. Imagine that, almost 40-year-old woman calling on their mother to clean their room. I would die of embarrassment. But not Chantal. She had no shame. She would call on mom to clean her room.
I have problems, okay? You're all deranged. Chantal, do you see me?
What the heck?
Are they having sex? I have a lot of pants. They were just dirty. And instead, I would just go buy more. The elastic. In Luca Magnotta's condo, I'm gonna die. I was just watching about him today.
Beezer.
You know to a serial killer?
I remember him. I so remember you, Austin. I made you so mad. Ooh, Austin was mad at me. I'm sure he's still mad at me to this day. And for those who are wondering, why was Austin mad at you? because Austin was one of her Beezers that when he decided to, step out of the Beezerverse and talk on his channel, he liked to do streams and he would do stuff, he would run his mouth, and anybody that reacted to him or remarked on what he said, if they did try to show any clips from his channel, he would throw little privacy strikes. And I knew that about Austin. So I outsmarted him and I took the clip, I cut out the video portion, I kept the audio portion, and gave him a different name. I call him Texas Beezer. And I posted my own video, and there was not a doggone thing he could do about it. He got outsmarted by a reactor. He couldn't say privacy violation. I didn't show his face. I didn't use his handle. He got he gave me an email. He's like, you need to take that down. Make me. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yes, that's exactly what he is. And then, like, what was on his door? Don't work.
That's a pattern with Chantal when it comes to the men that she brings online. She wants whoever that man is to be the co-star, to be like the wingman, if you will, and be there to help bring her more attention. And to do that, she'll set that guy up with his own channel if he doesn't already have one, and she'll urge her Beezers to sub to that guy. But he better not get more attention than she does. That's not allowed. If you are associated with Foodie and if she brought you on, you are not allowed to get more attention than she gets. And if you start to get a lot of attention, she's going to get jealous. She's going to get insecure. She's going to feel afraid that if you get too much attention and you make too much money, you are going to ignore her. So what will she do? She will be manipulative and she'll talk trash about you and give you some kind of a bad image so that people will stop watching you. It's her way of controlling how much attention and how much money you get. She likes to control people, and she will go to extreme lengths to make sure that they don't become successful.
No, you don't. That was his whole thing. Like, well, I'm not getting enough attention. I'm going to go kill somebody and make the best video ever for views. Stop trolling me. You guys are weird.
Lord, how did she walk in that bedroom? That is a tripping hazard waiting to happen. Look at that. This is the scam part. This is why I'm stitching this video with the other videos. The first video, Chantal out of her own mouth telling people how much she spent on herself in a month. You guys saw it. You guys heard it. $4,000, $5,000 a month just on her expenses. This doesn't include everything else that was going on at the villa or what she was paying for Natter. That was just for her and her addictions. For all the things that she liked to do, the food and the party favors and the edibles and whatnot. So obviously she was making good money, right? Right. Then you saw the second video where she had the nerve to beg money from her Beezers for a motel room, even though she was making $4,000, $5,000 a month just for herself. Now she's ordering from Uber Eats. She hasn't even tried the food yet, and she's already planning on asking for a refund. I'm sorry. Where I'm from, that's called theft. You are a thief. You are a scammer. She wants free food. And she expects the restaurants that she's ordering from to just take a loss and just give her the free food just because she's a customer.
Pie soup. Let's see what. Why are you guys saying pizzas died? He did not. I'm calling corporate. Yes, Jojo. Mm. I'm getting my own stuff from now on. I'm gonna change woman. Okay. The only time he's off the hook is when he has COVID. I make 4.
Her chowing down on the food to later ask for a refund. And this is part of the reason why she liked doing the takeout through Uber Eats or Postmates, because she could pull this scam on Uber Eats or Postmates. She could not do this in a sit-down restaurant. They would not stand for it. By getting the fast food far away through a delivery service, she could pull the scam, and she pulled it a lot.
The chicken's good. Pasta's boring. Yeah, the chicken is good though. I don't know what I'm one of the reasons that I'm not having any, so I don't have to worry about that. It would drive. Died of ligma. What is ligma? Ligma is. Person died fucking live stream. You thieving pieces of crap. You're not gonna get away with it.
The irony of her saying that, calling anybody who might be sniping her thieving pieces of crap. At the same time, during this moment, she ordered food and she planned on asking for a refund, and she would be stealing from the restaurants. The nerve of her, a thief, calling somebody else a thief.
Mark my words. I am gonna lawyer up, don't worry. No, I didn't change my mind, of course. It takes me forever to do things. Copyright strike Miss Fields. She thinks she's fucking smart and has a case. And counter strike. And puts in all caps letters. Do this. No, you don't.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a shock to Chantal. So for those who weren't around during this time period, there was a channel that reacted to Chantal by the name of Mrs. Fields. I don't know if you guys remember Mrs. Fields. Great channel. But Mrs. Fields was a small channel. And Chantal has gone on record as saying that she likes to go after small channels just because she feels that they are so small they won't fight back. They'll be too scared, or they don't have a big enough audience, so they won't fight back. So she's a bit of a bully. She likes to go after the smaller channels for that reason. She didn't count on Mrs. Fields actually fighting back. But here's the twist, Chantal. Here's the twist. You were complaining about Mrs. Fields in this moment, but Mrs. Fields changed her content. She does court cases now, and she gets 100 times more views than you do. Isn't that something? She stopped reacting to you. She started doing something else, and she's wildly successful.
And I'm going to show you don't have the right. And you're not going to be able to afford to fight me back. So don't even go there.
You broke bullying and harassment TOS just last week.
Make fun of people's traits like, oh, she looks like a dog. Dog is pretty mild compared to piece of who shames people all the time. All these reaction channels. All I would have to do is like sit there. Like, and these people mass report my channel and got my channel taken down. But it's not good for me to do that when I have right to strike me, I guess.
I remember you talking about Natter and you saying that he was a camel with, and I have to say it this way, y'all, a camel with band-aids. Those were your words, Chantal.
The difference is I take it down. I took it down because I was blackout drunk when I said it. It would be rigged. No, it wouldn't. I don't think we're gonna clean. I said possibly clean. Actually, I cleaned my desk. That's what I always get. Make it fair. Just look at DC. She hated thanks, and now just what? Why is there tea I don't know about? Are they just visiting each other, or are you assuming they're sleeping together, or what? So Dawn never actually cleans. She just moves things around.
Actually, they're not wrong. Chantal doesn't clean. She does just move things around. She'll shove like garbage into her closet and all that, or put it out of camera view so nobody could see it.
The trash bags. Okay, but it's like late. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not shit. I'm not doing it.
Girl, you already did. When you went over to the crack house, you were sleeping on a dirty, used mattress on the floor. You couldn't even sleep in bed next to Natter. And then when he went to Montreal to be with Dee Dee, you were having sex with Natter in Dee Dee's bed. You dirty creature.
There's no way I'm not settling for something that pisses me off and makes me unhappy. No.
Really? What prophetic words? I'm not settling for something that makes me mad and makes me unhappy. But yet here we are in 2025. You're with Salah. He doesn't make you happy and he makes you mad, and yet you're still with him. So please explain that.
No. You're literally going out with someone who sleeps with other women. I'm not going out with anyone. I'm single as they come. Slept with someone else in Cuba. If that didn't cement the deal, we literally cannot be with him. Does it prevent me from thinking about him sometimes? No, but fuck that, man. And it's tiring. Stuff always being your fault. No, I don't want to fucking live that way. I don't want to live that. Okay, let me complain at Uber Eats and get a refund.
And there it is. I was waiting for that part. You guys saw she just sat there and she ate the meal. She didn't eat a couple of bites and say to herself, that's disgusting, and want a refund. She was shoveling it in her mouth as fast as she could go, including the dessert. Now she's going to call up Uber Eats to get a refund. So she gets basically a free meal and she gets her money back. Ridiculous. That's thievery, Chantal. You're a thief. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with her food. She just didn't like it. Actually, she did like it. She ate a lot of it. She just wants her money back. She wants a free meal.
I do this a lot.
Let's play that again. Lean in.
Uber Eats and get a refund. I do this a lot.
I do this a lot. You know, I could see getting a meal from Uber Eats and there's something wrong with it every once in a great while. But she just self-confessed she does this a lot. So she's ripped off people a lot. She's gotten free meals a lot. Gotten her money back a lot. How many businesses did you rip off, Chantal? Because every time you ask for a refund, it's the restaurant that eats the cost. You know, that the food that they're giving you for free, that comes out of their pocket. You're ripping somebody else off.
I'm kidding. I don't actually.
Liar. Liar. You know when she says she's kidding, she means she's serious, right? Yep.
I think That's why they don't have a problem, because I really only use it when I have to.
No, I think she abuses it. And remember the first clip. She was making good money. Like all the money that she confessed that she spent on edibles and food and Starbucks, and she can't afford a meal from Postmates? A $40, $50 meal? She can't afford it? She could. She just doesn't want to. So if she sees an opportunity where she can scam people out of money and scam a business out of money, she will.
You have to take a picture of the food. They're gonna be like, you ate it all.
Yeah, she literally ate all the food and she's asking for a refund. Thief.
It was gross. I don't want to pay for it.
I don't want to pay for it. You're cheap. I don't want to pay for it.
But if I have to, whatever. I mean, I don't want it to be a big deal.
It is a big deal. You know, restaurants, fast food joints, they survive on the money that people spend on them. When people like you abuse the system, they take a loss.
Oh, they refunded it. But
I hope delivery apps crack down on people like her just looking for free food. Not saying you shouldn't complain if there's a legit mistake. What she's doing is wrong. Yeah, because she's a thief. She's a scammer. She's a con artist, and it's not right. It is not right. If there's something legitimately wrong with the food, then you have a right to complain. But if you sit there and you order a meal and there's nothing wrong with it, and you proceed to eat all the food, you really shouldn't be asking for your money back.
okay. The service was good from the Uber Eats lady. Not worth the price. Not so tasty.
Yeah, and she's smug. She's smug because she's ripping somebody off.
I'm so entitled. Yes, I'm entitled to a good meal for fucking $70.
$70. So she wants a $70 meal for free.
No, I only refunded the chicken Alfredo. I paid for everything else. You ate it all.
Yeah, we need proof, liar.
Hard days work is actually like. I worked my whole life.
No, you haven't.
Like, I used to work like 60 hours a week, actually. Shittiest jobs. Not the shittiest jobs. I was fortunate. I had pretty good jobs.
Chantal, you talked about your job history. And your job history, there is pretty much the same. Whatever job you were at, you never stayed long. You always got fired because you were eating on the job or not showing up on time or not showing up at all. And that's why you would get fired. You don't have a history of hard work.
But I did work my ass off a lot. And I stayed in school and I worked my fucking ass off.
You dropped out of college.
So, no, I'm not lazy, entitled, drifting my way through life. I worked to get where I am. Actually, thank you very fucking much. Yeah. Usually, I didn't drop out of school. I finished high school.
You did.
And I dropped out. I had 2 years of university. So what? More than most people do.
So you dropped out of university.
I don't need college for what I do now, so who cares? Really?
But you described yourself as an English major. So how can you be an English major if you dropped out of college? Ma'am.
Even if I did have my college degree, I probably wouldn't get a god freaking job. I went out of university and still found a job for like $70K a year or whatever it was. I went and traveled to friggin' Canada and volunteered 40 hours a week in Katimavik by myself. That took bravery when I was like 17. I was so homesick, and then I left school to do that, and I came back, and none of my friends were at my high school.
I'm going to offer up we're almost at the end here. I'm going to offer up kind of a sort of a closing thought of sorts. Sliding door moment. Imagine what Chantal's life would have been like if she didn't wander onto YouTube and have a monetized channel. Just imagine if she'd not wandered onto YouTube and started doing mukbang videos and making money on YouTube and doing the Foodie videos, how much different her life would be. Would she be over 500 pounds right now with all kinds of health problems? Wouldn't she be like a little bit healthier if she'd not wandered onto YouTube? Because her being on YouTube, the money that she's made from YouTube, just and doing it in a way to where she didn't really have to work hard for it. And she doesn't appreciate what she gets. She doesn't appreciate it all because it's just easy money. I feel that if Chantal had not gotten onto YouTube, not had a monetized channel, not built it up to a point where it practically pays her bills and her rent, she'd be in a lot healthier place. She might be like the rest of us, just having a regular job with a regular paycheck. She would have been able to go hog wild, buying the party favors, buying the drugs, buying food, all of that. She would have been able to overindulge with all of her excesses. She wouldn't have been able to take those things to the limit. I will always say that monetization was the worst thing to happen to Chantal. Absolute worst thing. It gave her too much freedom, too much money to live a hedonistic lifestyle and follow all of her impulses and all of her wild thoughts into dark places. And she indulged them all. And here we are.
I had finished high school. My final senior year, which was like a prerequisite year for university, I had to finish that by myself pretty much. Like, and whenever you're a teenager and you don't have friends around, it's embarrassing eating lunch by yourself, to have kids or whatever.
This is Chantal in Cuba. For those who are wondering what this is, she went to Cuba by herself and she raged most of the time, but she took a rare trip out to the beach to wander into the water for like 3 seconds. And that is the video courtesy of Piggy. Thank you for that, Piggy. So that's it for this retro react, y'all. It's kind of a shorter one, but I just wanted to like show you guys like how things were back in the day, the money in, the money out, and how much of a scam artist she is. So what are you guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and post this to YouTube, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be safe out there. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.